right here, right now.
We're not done yet. We still have one more series for the night, and that's going to be University of Maryland versus Johnson C. Smith University. And, well, Proper, I'm so happy to be joining you for this broadcast. And, well, tell me about it. Tell me about University of Maryland. Give me all you got. You got the inside scoop, right?
I mean, not necessarily, right? I mean, like, I almost feel bad. Like, again, like if Lil Yalci or Legendary are watching this, I am very sorry, gents, that I have not been in much contact through the entirety of this season.
Neglectful.
As a UMD alumni, I'm just excited to be able to see this COD team play throughout this season, because through Modern Warfare, the last time that the Terps had a roster, it wasn't good. It really wasn't. Like, they were lackluster. I'm not gonna say you're beat around the bush. I want to see the Terps do well. They're sitting here as a Tier 2 matchup, Katie, and they have a lot to prove for themselves, not only to be able to get a better seed going into the LCQ, but they're actually going up against a very strong opponent for themselves of Johnson C. Smith.
All right, well, you know what? There was some hype there. I found it in your words. I found the faith. You have some belief. Let's take a look now at the head-to-head for these two teams. You said it. Maryland and Johnson C. Smith going at each other and trying to see, well, maybe Maryland can get an upset. But, I mean, listen, I hear what you say about Maryland maybe being an underdog here, but these score lines don't necessarily lend themselves to that, except maybe if you're taking a look at the control hardpoint. And so maybe actually, yeah, the more I look at it, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, the Golden Bulls out of
listen.
JCSU are definitely going to be the better respawn team, but it's going to be quite telling specifically how the Stage 1s went, both for UMD and JCSU, right? I mean, who's to say that a lot of these wins and losses cannot be rectified and learned from later on down the road? Because we have not seen many roster changes coming through from these two teams, if any at all. And they have a lot to be able to grow and learn off of, especially from the Northeast region, of which they both hail from. There's a lot of good teams that were coming through from both these two teams. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Terps, the UMD roster, straight out of College Park, Maryland, baby. Let's freaking go, Terps. I'm excited to be able to see what this roster is finally able to be put together. I know that Legendary has been trying their damnedest to be able to put a strong team together. Their biggest issue coming out of Cold War was just being able to get other players to join the club to be able to play in the CCL. Now, Legendary, Lil Yalci, going to be joined by Limey and Willa Mays. I've been hearing some pretty decent stuff in the pipeline about what this four-player roster at least can offer as far as vibes are concerned, but it's got to replicate in their gameplay.
I mean, you're right. It's got to replicate in gameplay, but sometimes you just need that opportunity to shine, right? You need that opportunity, whether it's in a map or ideally in a full series, to show that you have what it takes to be able to take on your opponents and really maybe move up those rankings, make a name for yourself. But you're going to have to get through Johnson C. Smith University in the process. And as you said, especially if you're looking at those hardpoint records, if you're looking at control, it's going to be tough, at least in maps 1 and 3. Who knows on the search? But, well, Kreza, Tempest, Kaze, and Easy, what do you see when you look at this roster?
I see Tempest, truly, when it comes down to JCSU. If memory does serve me correctly, which in my old age, it might honestly not. But even so, I'm pretty sure that Tempest is a player that I do strictly remember from the Northeast region just last year in Cold War and through the beginning, early workings of Vanguard when we were spectating a lot of different matches across the board, because we didn't know who was going to be strong. We didn't know who was going to be the outlier when it came down to, let's be candid here, one of the softer regions here in Northeast. And JCSU definitely at least brought that grit. You saw that in their head-to-head, specifically when it comes down to their hardpoints and control. A lot of close maps to speak of throughout that first stage.
A lot of close maps, but we know how important it is to be the team that has the ice to close them out. And, well, you're going to have to do it on some of these maps. Let's take a look at where we're heading in the first 3. None other than a Tuscan hardpoint to start things off, and that's exactly where we'll stay for the search and destroy as well. A Gavutu control. We just saw a 3-0 on Gavutu in the prior series, but Berlin and Bocage, if we can extend it out for the final maps in the hardpoint and S&D. But I like Tuscan. I always feel like it's a relatively safe pick for teams, and seeing it, I'm not surprised to see it back-to-back for maps 1 and 2.
Yeah, look, Tuscan is that safe haven, right? You know that you're going to be able to feel a lot of comfort for your SMGs to be able to put in the work, and it also offers 2-3 lanes for ARs to be able to feel right at home, just negating any sort of silliness from any sort of lurking players of the enemy team. You're going to feel quite at home, especially when it comes down to that hard point, talking about just clinical rotations, chalking it at about 20-15, trying to rotate off of a money hill of 2, getting set up for 3 for that 40-50. Same thing could be said when you try to get in towards the back of 4, and hell, even 5 could be considered a money hill if you do a stellar job at holding both top and bottom side of that communications building. But when we get down to the search and destroy, that's what's going to be quite telling, because we've been seeing a lot of good teams, albeit good in the respawns, kind of crumble here in the CCL when it comes down to their search and destroy gameplay, Ketty. From the one specific reason alone is that they always come in with a plan of attack. But the moment that they lose that numbers advantage, how do they try to bounce back from losing that first ball? We saw High Point do it tremendously in that last matchup versus the Florida Gulf Coast Eagles, but I think what you're mostly going to be looking forward to for these two teams is what do they have to offer, because they have a lot to prove, not only to us as casters, you all as spectators there in the Twitch chat, but also to the rest of the Northeast region when it comes down to that last chance qualifier.
Well, and S&D, lest we forget, not only is it important to be able to regroup and overcome when you're in a man-down situation, maybe you lose out on that first blood, but also there's no guarantee on rounds if you take that first blood. So are you the team that can most effectively capitalize on the opportunities given to you? If you get that first snipe, if you get that first kill here in this map 2 on Tuscan, can you consistently convert it into rounds 1? We'll have to see, but first we start with a Tuscan hardpoint. UMD, JCSU going head to head, and well, I wish your team the best, Robert.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, look though, if they win this, they're even in hardpoints. They'll be in 11-11, so they got that going for them.
That's the kind of optimism that I need.
That's what I'm here for.
Every single day of my life. It will end up being JCSU starting off on the favorite side. What do we mean by that? Well, you probably have just a little bit of a better interest to be able to get to P1 a little bit earlier. You see Easy, Tempest, able to clean things up. That's a quick 4 dead for UMD, and Tempest is immediately pushing forward. We'll put the Terps in the dirt. Will Amaze will be right there at least to find a trade. But a fantastic start coming out from the Golden Bulls.
You can't ask for much more than that. 25 seconds of uncontested time, 25 more seconds that you're going to look to soak up to create a dominant lead. You have pushed Maryland so far back into their spawn, and Will and Mays able to get at least one, but you got to deal with Easy just being a nuisance in that back line, allowing Tempest to just stay set up. But, well, you're going to have to check behind your back because that's where you're about to get shot from, and the contest will come in, but look at that. He gets the pistol kill. You should expect the push. He doesn't, gets punished for it, and that's 47 seconds of time for JCSU and Maryland. Not even a second of time for them until P2.
47 seconds of unanswered time on P1, which is a traditional 50-50 when it comes down to it here in Vanguard. But the spawns did flip there towards the end of P1. The Terps able to at least bounce back and get some closer spawns in the middle of the map, and you have some coverage coming down to the bottom side of column. Finally, Lil Yalsi is going to be able to at least put themselves on the board, get themselves that first kill, turning a goose egg into a breadstick. Willow Maze will be contested down here at column, but reinforcements right behind this side of Church that JCSU were not necessarily aware of, but they were able to contest it for a certain amount of time, and they're actually setting up very early 4-3. You could already see Easy trying to set up over by the rooftops, but it could be a little bit of a misplay. 2 players for JCSU spawn in the backside of 3, or backside of 2, excuse me, so the numbers not as strong as I'm certain that the Golden Bulls wanted back here over by Wine.
That was actually a great play from Easy to just stall things out at 11-5 over double positive. But yes, you get the scrap time. You're able to retake that lead and stop Maryland from making things too even. But now you're going to have to break this setup from them. They are posted up. You can see that power position out of Lil Yao up in the back. And now the full push. JCSU trying to make the most of it. Easy opens it with an aid. Tempest follows it up. And now, well, Lilial able to get one. The reinforcements coming in from both sides. Limey gets 2, and well, just like that, the JCSU push cut short.
Well, indeed. This is great time coming through from Maryland. They are just finessing the time. Remember, it was 47-0 going into 2. That immediately gets flipped around for a lead swap for UMD, one of the more notorious hardpoints that are just very difficult to break on 3. They will concede it for now. 12 seconds is all that's going to be looked at for the bank of JCSU. They're flying all the way through the map. Prezes might be able to find themselves some fantastic timing, and UMD maybe just a little bit of a misplay. You got 2 players that hit over towards Old for what? 2 seconds, and now you're actually going to force Legendary to spawn over by rooftop, so they have to break from the front.
I mean, they've really given JCSU everything that they could ask for.
Yeah.
A except the gunfights, and at the end of the day, maybe that's all that matters. You have a bit of a fumble over scrap time, but you win all the opening kills, and now you have the point. So all's well that ends well, maybe, as Maryland will take the lead, but as the stuns come through and JCSU prepares to mount their push, Tempest opens it with a kill. They flood through the remainder of Church. They land on the point. Kreza with a double. Legendary, though, tries to get two cut down before he can secure his third onto Easy. JCSU will hold on, but for how long? As well, Easy, he is surrounded.
Completely surrounded. Look, you got to respect the London Royal Ravens effect. Tempest had all of the time in the world to go pick up some snacks and still switch to the Rat Pistol to be able to get that kill on the Limey on the backside of Church. But even more so than that, you're kind of flirting with the pressure that you're trying to break kills rather than try to set up for them. And that's exactly what Maryland are starting to do. The break comes through a lot earlier. Will's able to break their way inside of top comms. Going to be able to get themselves in early 4-5. The hit is coming through from the patio, and it's also coming through in the bottom side of P5 as we speak. And the pinch, well, it is quite effective as JCSU are able to combine for a 3-kill in a row. A couple trades to speak of, but still a lot of time to battle here at 5.
And where you see at JCSU, there's a couple players that are really popping off. Tempest at 15-9, for example. Easy at 14-4. It's a much more even effort out of Maryland. Yes, I mean, they're pretty much all negative, but they're all kind of working in tandem, trying to get those kills together and keeping things as close as possible. But fortunately, not too close with Kreza, who is now on 5, working toward full streaks, make it 6. Needs just one more to get that glide bomb, which can be so crucial. A lot of open air points on this map. Call outs to be had. We'll see if he can get that final kill. He goes for the gunfight, but cut short. A big moment. Willem Mays takes him out before the glide bomb can come through. Tempest with a double in mid-map, and now JCSU looking to collapse onto P1, find the success that they did early on, and, well, Tempest able to get at least one, goes for 2, but cut short.
Will be cut down here. Kreza is able to pick things up across the ruin side. Rotational gunfights have gone the way of the Golden Bulls out of JCSU, and they're putting themselves in a position to get a little bit more. Kreza is able to find 3, but Limey will be right there to at least mitigate the damage, and UMD are just struggling to be able to work their way out from their side of grass. Now finally getting themselves some gunfights, and they're getting a lot of space provided for them. 25 seconds is no time to scoff at if you are JCSU, so it's just about keeping these players off. Strafing run, I believe, was just called in, and you can tell by the camera on my voice, I thought we weren't using those bad boys, but hey, it's GA. It's not that it's banned. So you have to be able to battle through that, but it's still space coming through for the Terps as they're able to at least get the back end of the scrap time, Katie, keeping this lead marginal.
Look, if GAs get broken in CDL, that doesn't mean they can't get broken in CCL, too. A little mayhem, you know,
bring out the
keeps
F-Baits.
things interesting, keeps them a little spicy. And, well, Tempest and Kreza with 2 pieces apiece, and 160 to 140 now trying to pull this away, and they can do just that if they get a full hold here. And, will still Tempest and Kreza on 6 for Tempest, on 4 for Kreza, both working to try and get those full streaks once again. Kreza now, can he stay alive as they work in and around this point? So much time going their way. Kreza falls. Tempest now still looking for that 7th kill. Gets cut shy. That is 2 glide bombs now denied to JCSU. And Maryland finally able to work their way onto the point in the final about 18 seconds of time. But very good hold for JCSU, all things considered, as now they have free reign to push over to the top left side of the map and get set up for new.
It's that contested time, again, same thing happened over by the first set. It's contested time, and if JCU keeps it contested, Katie, that means that the Terps are not getting the time, is the way that I'm basically getting towards this point in time. Now, JCSU, the biggest thing that they were able to rectify from the first set going in towards this is that they don't actually overextend too far, and they don't allow UMD to be able to get numbers over by Vines and to be able to finesse top rooftops. They have the setup of the gods going in towards 3, already over 200 points.
And they are not missing a single shot, one after another. Maryland falls. K's now ready and waiting. A nice little prone position to be in. A hard angle to find out. You have Kreza mid-map waiting for any pushes from Church, but it doesn't even matter. They're all funneling in through the top, right into Easy, right into Tempest, both on 4 sprees again, soaking up that time. 220 to 152. Easy now on a 5 spree, running away with this game. Maryland was keeping it close, but it seems like they have lost their footing. And, well, Kreza, he shoot him in the back mid-map, scrambling away for his life, and they're already set up for new again. Maryland, they're going to have to make something happen right now because this is a map win hill for JCSU.
Willimasis has to go big. He's able to find 2, and that actually buys time for the rotation to come back through all the way over by 3. That's where Legendary is spawning back in. And they know that JCSU are all in the back. It's just about picking the doorways, of which Tempest will burst through the grass door, is able to work their way back in, but trades are good. UMD keeping the play alive here at 4.
Doing everything he can, and unfortunately, it might not be enough. Back on the hill, JCSU without too much trouble. I feel like every time we have looked at Tempest in this series, he's on a minimum of a 4 spree, shooting everyone in the back. Make it 6 now. Can he finally get the glide bomb? Might not even matter at this point. And he's going to have a 3-man push here through the front. Gets 1, gets cut down, but Kreza and K is right there to get the trades. Now just 10 seconds needed for JCSU as they push for this win. And if you're Maryland, this is your last gasp, your last attempt to stay in live in this map, at least long enough to contest pushing to new, and they managed to do it.
They managed to do it, but I mean, look at the rotation. They're all 4 players that were able to break inside of 4, and now you have to go big again if you're Will, of which he simply cannot through the patio side. You can break back into 4 for what? Again, for about like 3 seconds or so, but you just have to send 2 players, Terps, to be able to break back in for, or at least find some exit kills, because the rotations is exactly what's the thorn in the side for UMD, almost living up to the moniker of maybe too much of a turtle, in my opinion, for the way that they were able to recognize what was inevitably winning JCSU, is that they were winning rotational gunfights and winning rotations outright when we're talking about Money Hills going back to 2 off the opening rip. Even going in towards 3. Yeah, they kind of overextended themselves and gave a little bit of an opportunity for Terps to be able to contest P3 early, which is why the first set of Hills for P3 specifically was a little bit more mixy. But then all of that got cleaned up for JCSU. They put themselves in a prime position to be able to win rotational gunfights, sink their teeth in, or their horns as it may be, as Golden Bulls. I don't know where I'm going with it, but they were able to win a lot of rotations, Katie, and that is where just the lead spiraled out of control. It was close through the first set, but once JCSU were able to recognize the one simple fact that what they needed to do was to just win rotations, it was just a lead too far gone. Isolated gunfights, in more or less every single gunfight, was being won by Tempest, Easy, and Kreza. You can see even K's a minute and 9 seconds of hardpoint time. Same for Tempest, almost 2 minutes of hardpoint time, 30 non-traded kills. Maryland just truly struggled to be able to not only find these isolated kills, but to be able to find the break potential that they were trying to set themselves up for.
I mean, Tempest was a one-man army. 38 and 15 over double positive, as you said, the most non-traded kills in the map, the most damage on the map, the most hill time on the map. I mean, that's a very scary sight when you're watching one person do everything at once on top of the rest of the team. I mean, look at that. 26 and 16 out of Easy, Kreza, even Kays was getting it done with the second most hill time on the team. This was a coordinated effort, and there really was no player who wasn't fulfilling their obligation, and it reflects in the score line. But now for Maryland, this is where you bounce back, because it's going to be time for an S&D here in Tuscan. Maybe slow down the pace a little bit, give a different mindset to what's happening here, a bit more methodical, and who knows, maybe outthink your opponent, outplay them to be able to bring this to 1-1.
Yeah, you just don't play JCSU Call of Duty, right? You play Maryland Call of Duty at this point. And what I mean by that, I feel like a broken record when I'm talking about these CCL teams, is that you have to recognize, look, we are not the team with the better gunnies. We are not the team that is overwhelming the slay factor when it comes down to the matchup. That one notion was quite relevant as Tempest, again, dropped a 38 bomb in that hard point. You have to be able to recognize the timings that offers itself, specifically on the defensive sides of the Tuscan Search and Destroy. What do I mean by that? It's the timings of the set nades, specifically Top Church, to be able to deny quick plants that are coming through over by A. Get nerdy with it. Show me what you got, both JCSU and UMD, for set nades across the entirety of the map, because I know at least 12 off the back of my hand, Katie, that a lot of teams can find value with on this specific map mode combo, both defense and offense alike.
I like the flex. If you're going to need an S&D coach, you know where to find proper. We'll see who gets it done. And I agree, though. I mean, a lot of the times, do you have those coordinated opening nades? Do you know the timings, where it's going to be best to put them to anticipate those early first bloods? If you can effectively do that on top of the smart mid-round adjustments and being able to really outplay your opponent, you're going to find success. And if you're Maryland, you need to find success, because having to rely on a reverse sweep in this series is going to be extremely difficult. But, well, Willimasis, he opens with 1, he opens with 2, 2, and that's a great start. K's trying to even the odds, though, able to at least bring it to a 3-2.
Flank play might play effect here. Chris is on an island. They're going to clear out top fire. This is the one hole in Maryland's offense so far. The quick plant goes down. They have the numbers advantage. Nate's still in the back pocket for K's. Send that. Nowhere that's going to be impactful, but this is all just buying time for Kreza to try to make the play. The issue here, 14 seconds to try to make this play, does at least see one that is going to be top monument, be able to get away with their life. Case just has to hop it, sees one player on the other side of you, and will amaze, will look for the ace, will be denied it, but Kreza will get out with their life. But most importantly, that was a hell of a round out of the OBJ player of Will, comparatively to everybody else. He goes for the quick plant, gets away with their life, finds 2 over by grass on the north side of church, and then, again, it just plays the post plant just so wonderfully. The opening rip for the Terps was making my feet sweat. I'm not going to lie. There was nobody top fire to be able to overwatch that mid push that did end up coming through from JCSU. We'll have to see if they can correct that going forward for their next defense.
Sweaty feet can be a scary thing. We'll see if they got the ice to cool those out. And well, JCSU looking to strike back here, get the same success that Maryland had on their offense. Kreza, an immediate push right into mid-map. Will, I think, actually, I wondered. I thought Loyal saw him, but I don't think maybe he spotted him. Doesn't matter, though. Will Amaze, first blood round 1, gets the first blood round 2. Kreza with an immediate trade. Now 3-3 as the bomb is planted. Kreza, give him the double, give him the triple. Legendary, all on his lonesome. He's going to have to try and go for this defuse, and that's going to be real hard when there's an entire 3-man barricade set up around the A-bomb site.
It's behind the play, though, and he's going to clear out backside of church, look over by bunks. The answer is absolutely not. JCSU are looking twisted as far as that offense is concerned. Again, when it comes down to Tuscan, you're not going to get a lot of, say, unbeknownst set plays. Everybody's going to try to go for that quick plan at A, try to at least get some stuns out from the defensive team, and just try to immediately put themselves in a post-plan situation. If you can find yourself all those kills along the way, you're going to be in a great spot. And who ended up finding 3? That was Kreza. Now finds themselves on 4 in a row, staying alive through the previous round, not able to win it. On the defense, we'll have to see what JCSU do this time around. No mid-map pressure. It's going to be okay. There's a lot of nades that are coming through from UMD across this top patio side. Yalci is going to get stunned up, so you know that JCSU are aware this push is happening.
And, well, it's Kreza now on 5. Opens it and make it 6. Hayes follows him up, and just like that, JCSU mows them down. You will not get close to this bomb. You will not plant it at the site. You will not do anything in this round. JCSU speed running their way into round number 4 of this search and destroy. And I have to see as we wait for these to come back up. But was it Kreza? No, it was not. I thought it might have been Kreza with that final kill. But, well, he's 1 away from a glide bomb, and that could be hugely beneficial for them on a map like this.
So we broke strafing run GAs. The hard point on Tuscan.
Who knows?
Do it on search. I'm here for it, honestly.
I'm here for things to get weird. Sweaty feet, sweaty palms, who knows?
I don't like how you're leaning on my sweaty feet comment. But even still, JCSU on offense. Pressure through the middle of the map again. 2 players strong, and they're playing off the information from the stuns and nades so wonderfully. Case finds 2 inside of church. That'll be the immediate call for the bomb to go down.
As it should, and it will without difficulty. Bomb planted, Kays gets away with his life, and what's been so effective is how aggressively JCSU has been playing. And, well, Kreza, take a look. 7-0. Will now have that glide bomb. You have poor Limey all on his own. No kills, no hope, and not a lot of time to make anything happen. The first shots come in from Kreza, and, well, he gets it 8 in a row for Kreza. And JCSU make it 3-1.
Juggernaut right now. Just roll around the map. 8-0. Even after losing that first initial round on defense, stays alive. Got themselves a bedrock of streaks. This is going to be scary to deal with if you are UMD. We'll have to see if they take any sort of redirection off of their B push that ended up fumbling. Will be the immediate call. 2-2 split. Got Limey down over by P5. Maybe try to cause a little bit of a ruckus. 2 players here defensively, but Temp still finds first blood. That's going to be the bomb carrier of Will over by you.
Tally pops it in, throws out the attack, trying to connect with some, has the suspicion someone's there, and well, he is correct. Gets stunned, but backs off, just waiting for the push from Limey. Kreza being so careful right now after Willa Mays has fallen for Maryland, and K is on the side of JCSU. 3v3 is Lil Yao trying to get that bomb plant down. Limey wins the fight off screen, takes down Kreza, but Tempest answers back with a vengeance double. And now Lil Yao, he gets the bomb down, but he's all on his own in a 1v2, scrambling away to safety. We'll see. JCSU, do you try and hop the bomb earlier? Do you play it patient? 30 seconds, very quickly. You are not going to have a lot of time, but a full roundabout push back into mid. He's able to see at least one and should be able to get the kill if he chooses to go for it. Gets one, gets traded. I think maybe if he's a bit more decisive on that initial shot into easy, maybe he then gets away to trade with Tempest, but I think he just might have waited a little too long.
Maybe, but even still, off that information, you should just try to reposition, maybe go and try to find the timing through bottom P5 and try to get top side of fire, because that's essentially where the bomb is planted for, Katie, in that post plant. Where Lil Yasi put themselves at, that's a 1-for-1 trade position, especially knowing that you're in a numbers disadvantage. And at 2v1, you're basically going to be looking to put yourself in the spot to be able to check the bomb around timing, to be able to find that kill and get the heck out of Dodge with your life. But in a position like that, maybe if you find that gunfight earlier, Lil Yalsi might have been able to snap on towards the second of temp, but it just doesn't come through. Very awkward stuff coming through from UMD so far, as we have 4 rounds in a row now for the Golden Bulls of JCSU, who aggressively are pushing through the middle of the map. Nobody is stunning this from UMD, keep in mind you. Nobody's stopping any of the map positional advantages that JCSU are just yoinking away from the Terps.
You cannot cower against the aggression JCU is putting out, especially considering the fact that Easy is on 2. Lil Yalsi, he's able to get 2 of his own, but take a look. Tempest is now on 6, 1 away from having 2 glide bombs for JCSU to utilize, and, well, you're all on your own and give away your position, have the initial shots, but able to take out Tempest. That's a big kill. At least won't have to worry about that streak any longer. Now into a 1v1, but you got to get the defuse. And again, this is a situation where Easy, you just have to patiently wait for him to go to the bomb, take that check, and that's exactly what he does. This is a round where Lil Yalsi, he has to be the one to make the push. If you're Easy, you just sit back and let him and punish him when he gets to that bomb site.
And it's got to be so frustrating, too, because you're not only just trying to do the 1v2, you're also 1v3ing, really. If you're thinking about the clock and the bomb that's about to detonate over on that A site, that gets quickly planted. And again, for the Terps, if they go back and rewatch this VOD, there's so much aggression coming through the middle of the map. Katie, it takes 1 stun, 1 nade through that truck in the middle of the map will immediately stop that push from coming all the way through.
Don't forget the bomb either.
It could be important. Look, you don't want to fully pull a Minnesota Rocker on Berlin, but it could work. Limey's in a very aggressive position inside of top comms. He's in an island position, but at least saw 2. That should be immediately communicated. The glide bomb comes through. It's all fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, you know, it's a tough... It was actually a solid start, but really pretty much a tough everything following. Tempest here gets in the face of Lil Yalsi, takes him out, and now just like that, Legendary is here, and I'm pretty sure all he has is a sniper, and, well, those boards aren't going to do much for you. Flies through, doesn't get much for his Kool-Aid Man entrance, and unfortunately, that's going to be a 6-1. Maryland, this is tough. I mean, maps 1 and 2, not looking the best. JCSU, they give up 1 and then 6 straight. They dominated this Tuscan.
Besides a very quick and definitive first round from Maryland where Will finds 3. Yeah, JCSU absolutely milli-whopped the Terps on that search and destroy. And it comes through just one simple fact is that, you know, the first round they go and they try to put themselves in the middle of the map. No pushback. Next round, middle of the map, no pushback. You see where I'm going with this. Through the next series of rounds, off of the immediate play that came through from the Terps to be able to get that bomb plant in the middle of the map was because JCSU put nobody in the middle of the map to try to deny that push. For the next 6 rounds, out of the 7 that were played in that Tuscan Search and Destroy, all JCSU were doing was setting 1, if not 2 players in the middle of the map. It was not checked by the Terps, and it just allowed so much pressure for the Golden Bulls to be able to I guess, enforce the positional advantages that you do get from the middle of the map. Not to mention all the different island plays that were disjointed from UMD as a whole there at the end. I don't think there's really much of a advantage for Limey to try to burst through top maps like that, and knowing that there is going to be a player that more than likely is going to try to at least wrap that around. Typically, you want to wait for that defensive player to try to make the full-on wrap play if the bomb does go down. But most importantly, when it comes down to Maryland versus JCSU, in that search and destroy, it was clinical, it was decisive. JCSU looked like the better rehearsed team.
And I mean, look at this. JCSU, 10 first bloods to 2 first blood. I mean, there's so much dominance going on the side of JCSU right now. And look at that total game time. 5 minutes and 46 seconds is how long this Tuscan search and destroy lasted. You want to talk about,
not a long time.
Yeah, you want to talk about a dominant run from a team on a map, and it doesn't get stronger than that. All you're missing is the nice little 6-0. But hey, this is where we see the crazy comeback. This is where we see the potential for a reverse sweep. It starts for Maryland on this control, and I don't know. I think things can get a little weird. I think they can make something happen.
Yeah, we're going to have to see, right? I mean, for Gavutu control, it's a coin flip. We'll have to find out. We ended up seeing at least FGC break their, 5 maps in a row for a loss in their doubleheader to start off the entirety of the night, taking that control versus High Point. Terps, got to try to make something happen when it comes down to Gavutu control. We're going to throw things to a very short break, give the players some time to stretch, and give some much-needed time for UMD to think about some of the things that they need to do to be able to start this reverse sweep versus JCSU. Don't go anywhere. College COD will be right back after this short break.
The comeback is in the works. I can feel it. Proper Maryland. They're gonna at least extend it to a map 4. Maybe. Hopefully. We'll have to see, but we're going to a Gavutu control. And there you go. See the thoughts and prayers being funneled by none other than Proper himself. And how could you ask for better vibes?
Honestly, Span, they're going to need some of that. I mean, I know that the vibes are strong for the UMD boys. They're never short of that, Katie, but they got to be able to try to piece something together. Vibes are only so fun when you are losing, let's put it that way. And I think that UMD just need to be able to dig deep and, hell, maybe even take a map, because when it comes down to Gavutu control, it can be a coin flip. It's just about preserving your life, fighting those kills on defense, extending the clock when you're on offense, and putting yourself in a position to be able to guarantee that round 5. Again, for everybody at home that is tired of me sounding like a broken record, well, too bad. We are not playing on the tick patch right now. We are still playing for overall eliminations in this current stage of CCL. I believe that patch doesn't come through for about another week and a half, if not 2 weeks. So we'll still see a lot of players playing for the kills, holding off for their lives, trying to guarantee themselves that round 5 defense.
How could we ever get tired of hearing you talk, Proper?
I do every single time, every day. I do VOD reviews, and I'm just like, why does this guy keep talking? Oh, wait, that's me.
It is you, and you're here because you're great, and, well, that chit-chat is providing all the intel that we need to know exactly what's happening on the map. And, well, what we hope's happening, if you're Maryland, is literally anything at all. This is a must-win map, are the next 3. If you don't want to get swept, or at least avoid dropping a goose egg in terms of maps entirely. Map 1, map 2, not close, not even a little bit. And, well, Kreza, one of the reasons that was the case, at least in the search and destroy, sitting about 10-2 when map 2 ended, and it's going to be Tempest who strikes first, takes out Legendary. Lil Yalci answers back with a trade, and you said it, but it's about preserving those lives. But a nice position from Little Yalci gets him at least a double.
You got to respect what the Golden Bulls of JCSU were actually looking for, right? I mean, they come out with the initial offense. We've seen a lot of teams actually do this. This is both in Challengers and the CDL, where they immediately try to work their way over towards B. Why? Because most defensive teams will try to keep themselves more strongholded over by the A zone, because that's typically where the opening engagements do go. But UMD quickly able to negate a lot of that pressure, will deny the B push at least early on. But off the bounce from the respawns, Golden Bulls out of JCSU will at least reign supreme from this top boat position. We'll stall at this clock at 48 seconds.
Case knows Willamaze is here, just waiting for him to sneak over, punishes him for it. Now that'll put him on 3. They finally get that first take of progress at A, just trying to soak up as much time as they can. That's easy, just sitting on the point. Kreza, aggressive, already pushed forward into the building, shooting players in the back. Now on 5, Kreza is unstoppable in this series. Make it 6, can he make it 7? Full streaks immediately. And we're only in the first round. That final tick looking to come through. Easy gets his first kill. There's pressure at B. There's pressure at A. And A will finally tick through. 148 to get 2 ticks here on B. Full streaks and full steam ahead for JCSU.
Yeah, that's one of those moments from Kreza where you just sit back and you're like, Jesus, son! What'd you have for dinner? Limey's 0-4, by the way.
Potato salad, if I had to guess.
Oh, dude, I could really go for some potato salad.
Saying.
Yeah, it's a good potato salad. It has to be diced up, though, because I can't deal with big potato chunks. But JCSU, 2 ticks progress over towards B. Still stalling out the clock. It's 19v7. Maryland will finally at least get the space, but the lives department doesn't look too good. JCSU now have an opportunity to play glorified TDM to be able to fish out these last 4 kills.
No potatoes, but potentially breadsticks. Limey 0-6, struggling to get something going as JCSU pushes right back onto the point, looking to close out their remaining time. And they shouldn't have too much trouble, realistically, because there's only 3 members of Maryland left trying to stay alive here. And JCSU full control of the map, wrapping all the way around into their spawn. They know where Maryland must be. And, well, Will Amaze, he will fall. And thus, there were 2, Legendary and Limey, doing everything they can. Unfortunately, just not enough lives to spare. JCSU, that is about as dominant of an offense on Gavutu as you're about to see.
It's just interesting, right? Because, I mean, the Terps immediately shut down the push past Ring. They deny the immediate push over towards the B zone, but then the returning gunfights over towards A were so decisive, so clean out from JCSU that you got full streaks in the back pocket for Kreza, 12-4 for them through 1 round of play, by the way. And everybody else is just able to play those angles and just able to clean up the space as soon as Maryland are trying to deny any more tick progression over towards A. An offensive win on Gavutu is no easy feat. UMD now going to try their hand to work their way over towards the B zone first and foremost. I honestly thought Tempest was going to walk away with that 2-piece, but trades are not going to be good enough. UMD is still trying to make this play happen over towards the B zone off the rip.
Well, Kreza able to get 1. Can he turn it into 2? He tries, but just simply too much damage taken. Not enough time to recover, but 13-5, 10-5, 9-5. JCSU is storming this beach and taking control of essentially every aspect of it. Tempest with a double before he gets traded out. Will Amaze trying to do what he can. Legendary now at 9-8, but there's essentially an even life lead. JCSU with about 1, but this is where it gets really, really dangerous. If JCSU is able to wipe them off of this A point and shove them back into their spawn, that could be an extremely dangerous offense for Maryland to try and work their way out of. Thankfully for them, it seems like they're doing all right, but I think you can see that streak coming in now, but they're holding on here, able to get about a tick and a half. But Legendary, you're gonna have to be careful. There's someone right up to your left, and well, you don't see him, but Tempest sees you, gets a beatdown, gets a kill. Easy with a double, Tempest with a double, and this is that spawn trap that could very well become a reality.
Oh, Easy immediately just hits it over by the cliff. We'll end up finding a few more, but Tempest is right there to pick things up. Trades are not going to be beneficial for UMD, trying to work their way back out of their spawn and get their way over inside of the Z zone. I believe that actually a glide bomb was invested during that entire debacle, and not unless my ears are escaping me as well, which again, hate to keep harping on myself, but hey, I'm losing a lot of things. I can't see color, Katie, and who's to say that I'm losing my ability to hear as well. But what UMD are losing is the ability to keep this play going. Will is trying their best. Legendary is right there to at least keep that clock stalled out today. The second tick of progress does come through, but you're down to 16v9. You're able to at least maybe extend this game clock past 60 seconds. Could at least keep the hopes alive for UMD.
And really, it's just a full-on showdown here. JCSU doesn't even want to give them the opportunity to secure A, but that's exactly what they're going to do. Unfortunately, you only have 1 respawn remaining as Kreza gets a headshot onto Legendary. Will Amaze doing whatever he can to dwindle their numbers here on the top of A, and, well, takes down Easy, but you have no respawns left now, and this is where things can get extremely dangerous. But hey, Will, you're on 4. If you could at least maybe get some streaks in the process of this, you might not win it, but if you can get some streaks, that could be hugely beneficial to you. We'll see. Gets another, puts him on 5, but you only got 40 seconds left. Your team, to be fair, actually do quite a good job of staying alive with those final 3 kills, and Will Mays just like that on 6. Can he get himself a glide bomb? No, Tempest cuts it short.
2v7. Legendary versus the world. Facing the entire cafeteria of JCSU. Sure that their cafeteria probably houses more than 7 people. I was just kind of fishing for a little bit of a wordplay there.
It could be quite small.
Dude, Legend's just in the back here, and he actually catches cases by surprise. 8 seconds remaining, trying to make the play happen. He actually finds a second, trying to extend the game. Last tick of progress is all that's really needed over here at the B zone. He's staying alive, Katie. He's reading where the push is coming through, but you just got to swarm if you are JCSU. They finally deal with Legend over by the B zone. That got close. I've seen some 1v-odd situations in Control ever since it came around in Call of Duty. That would have been one to put on the fridge.
Yeah, if he somehow succeeds in that 1v5 when they know where he is and he doesn't really have a lot of cover, that becomes incredible. That becomes maybe one of the most impressive things I've seen in a while. Unfortunately, it will only remain a dream, as the reality is that JCSU is up 2-0. They are one offensive win here away from being able to sweep Maryland's hopes and dreams away from this night and maybe send them to an early spring break. I don't know if they've already been on spring break or not. I never did spring break, so hopefully they at least have somewhere warm to go and relax after this.
I didn't have the option for spring break past like year 3. Always more studies and more fun. Let's just put it that way. Maryland, though, might be looking at just that, though, Katie. The opening break again deny at least the numbers push over towards B, but you saw Tempest just buying a lot of space for the rest of JCSU to work their way out from their spawn. Get top LSC in their favor. That's going to be Kays that is in that top 3rd position. Nice shots out from Will Mays. B40 range shots like that are not easy to come by. Still has one player above them, and well, the rest of JCSU, I mean, they're just frolicking throughout the map, trying to get themselves any sort of map terrain to get themselves on that A zone and stall at that clock.
I mean, you gotta just feel for Lil Yalcy too. You're over quad negative. You have the most deaths on your team. You're just struggling to get something together. And usually that's a big indicator, right? On a map like a Control where you only have a limited amount of respawns, you can't be that player who has such a high amount of deaths if you're not also contributing in some other fashion. And well, Kreza with the double on top of the boat, just doing what he can to watch over. Tempest already putting pressure here onto B, trying to get that tick. Does get that progress while progress is occurring at A at the same time. You have a 6-kill lead, and Easy looking to get the double. Gets one, actually doesn't get anything at all. Legendary and Lamy able to stay alive there. But now, I think, did that second tick did come through on B?
Yeah, it did. If it's not, then it's literally a mustachio's hair away, and my eyes can't tell the difference. But I'm pretty sure that it did. I think that I saw the little 3rd come up underneath the word of Control. 26 seconds remaining, and JCSU, they have to be able to make this play happen over towards A. You would assume so, given that that's where the rest of their numbers are. But Will is actually still finding value. 21 and 15 for the kid. Needs to go big here over by the A zone. Tempest actually gets stunned up, and Will be traded out. So this last tick of progress should be conceded if you are UMD. There's no real reason to give up more lives than you've already had.
Yeah, no, you got to let this go and just prepare for your final defense in and around that B site. And unfortunately, Kays with a double Easy pushing forward, wiping up some kills mid-map. You will have to deal with the fact that Limey is still waiting to cut off any reinforcements from your spawn, unless he turns around and gets shot in the back by Kays, which is exactly what happens. So maybe a good idea in theory, but didn't really work out in practice. Kreza, well, he's making this building his home in and around, down to the 1st story, gets another kill, puts him on a 4 spree, and just like that, you only have 2 respawns if you're Maryland, and a dream to try and extend this out. And well, that's where it will remain a 3-0 JCSU, not only a 3-0 in a Control, but the 3-0 in the series. And well, I'm sorry proper, but that was clean. That looked very clean for JCSU.
Like I had some banter with Chuver inside the Twitch chat in between our breaks, in between maps 2 and 3, and it's just comedy for me, because they went to a place that I won't talk about, but then also Legendary was also talking to our observers in the game chat about how he just wanted to go to Coldstone. Like that's the UMD vibe right there. Just like, look, I'm here not for a long time, but for a good time, and that's exactly what they ended up having for themselves.
Coldstone?
I can only... Dude, Coldstone rocks, man, and I know the exact Coldstone that they're going to. It's all coming back to me in my old brain here, but I think again for UMD, what we're mostly going to be looking at is what are they going to do to basically prove to the rest of the CCL that they can end up making an argument through the LCQ? Are they here for the vibes? Because honestly, it seems that the vibes are at an all-time high. They lost against the JCSU roster, who again, they are obviously more rehearsed when it comes down to their break potential, their holds of what we saw on that hardpoint of Tuscan. Not to mention the 6-round stint that we saw ever since UMD won that first round on Search and Destroy. And then the Gavutu control. They were just so clinical. Besides maybe that final round where they were kind of fumbling with a few players trying to go for like 1v-odd situations over by the South Beach, 1v-odd situations over by the boat itself. But I think that UMD have a really good player to back themselves up behind, and that's going to be Will. Will continuously wears lights out throughout the Tuscans and the Gavutu control as well. You see right there, 22 and 18, but the overall chemistry that we're seeing out from JCSU, the rehearsal is coming through in spades. Kreza goes 29 and 12, 25 and 14 for Tempest. Non-traded kills are just in an all-time high comparatively. Even K's did their work at 20 and 13.
And this is what you call a dominant win. Sometimes a 3-0 doesn't tell the entire story, Andy, and in this case, it certainly does. They were able to take it away without too much difficulty on any of those maps, and let's take a look at them now. Berlin and Bocage, not a reality here. A 250-181 smackdown on Tuscan, leading into a 6-1 bullying in the Search and Destroy, and ends with a mollywhopping 3-0 on the Gavutu control. Maryland, hey, they respected their own time, so at least they go get that Cold Stone a little faster.
Yeah, gotta go get some of that pristine ice cream, man. Now I kind of want some ice cream. I'm not a sweets kind of guy, Katie, but I'm a sucker
be a sweets
for...
kind of guy. Sweets are great.
I'm a savory fat kid. That's what I do. Like I will literally sit there and eat about 3/4 of a ham in front of your face and live to tell the tale about it. With potato salad on the side, keep it mind you. But yeah, again, this was a 3-0 in and out. Quick, easy peasy for JCSU. They got some pushback against UMD on that Tuscan hardpoint, but the second that they were able to recognize their biggest issues, they were able to at least rectify, look, we need to win these rotations, and start winning those rotations, and it was a massive snowball. Very, very proud to be able to see not only just representation for the Terps Nation here in the CCL, but definitely not a squad that might be able to make a lot of work when it comes down to that LCQ if they just play the same Call of Duty that we saw here.
Well, that's been 3 great series. Congratulations, Shenandoah, a High Point, and JCSU on your victories. There's still a lot going on the Bravos channel, so we're going to send it over there. But that's it for Proper NI. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Let's head over to Bravo.